After weeks on the picket line, Kellogg's workers are now looking forward to going back to work. The strike is over, and they finally have a collective bargaining agreement that they're in favor of. Now, union members voted to approve a new 5-year collective bargaining agreement that includes an immediate wage increase of $1.10 per hour, a moratorium on plant closures through October of 2026, and also a pension boost. Now, employees are expected to go back to work on December 27th after the Christmas holiday. And the union's president also announced that our striking members at Kellogg's ready-to-eat cereal production facilities courageously stood their ground and sacrificed so much in order to achieve a fair contract. This agreement makes gains and does not include any concessions, meaning concessions on behalf of the workers. There is a small concession, which we'll get to in a second, but overall, this is really great news. In fact, Anthony Shelton, the president of the union representing these workers, also says, from picket line to picket line, Kellogg's union members stood strong and undeterred in this fight, inspiring generations of workers across the globe who were energized by their tremendous show of bravery as they stood up to fight and never once backed down. Now, this was an effort by Kellogg's workers, not just in one state, not just in one factory, but in several states across the country. Roughly 1,400 Kellogg's workers in 4 different states, Michigan, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee, had been on strike since October 5th, when cereal plant employees walked off the job in an effort to improve pay, benefits, and poor working conditions, a long-standing issue that deteriorated further amid the coronavirus pandemic. And so the workers accused their employer, Kellogg's, of intentional understaffing, mandatory overtime, and also inequality in pay, severe inequality in regard to pay, especially when you consider that the CEO was receiving $12 million in compensation a year. Now, a major dispute between the workers and management has been the existence of a 2-tiered compensation system that divides employees into legacy and transitional categories, with the latter receiving lesser pay and benefits. Under the new contract, according to the union though, the 2-tiered system would unfortunately remain in place, but it wouldn't be permanent. The Washington Post reported that the management agreed to create an accelerated path from one tier to the next, but some workers voiced concern that the new contract could further entrench the status quo. So really the sticking point has been this 2-tiered system. And what I feel I feel inspired by the fact that workers did not want that division. They did not allow that division. There was true solidarity here. I mean, we're talking about some of the legacy workers engaging in this strike because they demand fair treatment for all workers. And that solidarity is really important in the workplace. It's inspiring, I love to see it. And the workers did sacrifice a lot. They put a lot on the line to engage in this strike. They could have permanently lost their jobs. And Waz, I want to bring you in to talk about this a little bit. You know, you and Nando talk about the labor movement quite a bit. This is something you're very passionate about, and I love it. So, I wanted to get your thoughts on this new collective bargaining agreement and just how this strike played out overall.
You know, it's funny because we talk about it all the time on the podcast, Nando and I, is that, the Dems shelve Build Back Better. And it can just almost seem so depressing, disheartening, and pointless, right? Like all of it. This idea that vote blue no matter who, the Dems are gonna save us from the evil Republicans and this and that. And bupkis, we get nothing from those jokers. But what we are seeing that is very encouraging is labor agitation. We saw it at John Deere, the Teamsters and UPS. They just got new leadership and they're threatening to be balls to the wall against UPS, corporate management. Of course, we're seeing it here with Kellogg's. It's nice, man, as we're watching, the Democrats pass a record-setting military budget of $25 billion more than Biden even asked for, with no problem, no debate, no hemming and hawing about, oh, maybe this is too much, maybe we can't afford it. It just sails right through, earned child tax credits, family leave, all of that stuff gets put on the cutting room floor as always. And yeah, this is about the only good news coming out of, the politics and issues that affect working people.
You're absolutely right about that. I mean, I feel the despair every time I see the inaction in Congress. All of these gross, corrupt politicians, politicians who are investing in individual stocks, they don't care about you. They care about their own stock portfolios. And so it's easy to feel that despair and just kind of wallow in it. But where I'm finding any hope, any inspiration is through the gains that are being accomplished by these workers, right? And it's not just Kellogg's. I mean, we've seen it with various strikes in various sectors of the economy. You mentioned UPS, there was the Nabisco strike. If you want to follow what's happening with the labor movement, I would highly recommend reading Jonah Furman over at Labor Notes. Really great, reporting on anything involving labor activity. And I also wanted to mention that, oftentimes when I talk about Congress, I do make generalizations because generally speaking, Congress is terrible. But there were some moments that made me feel proud and reinforced my support for Senator Bernie Sanders, because he joined the Kellogg's workers on the picket line. And I wanted to share a quick video of that with you all.
In the middle of a pandemic, legitimately, you are heroes and heroines, right? You are feeding America. And it is just outrageous to me that the company responds to your sacrifices by saying, we're taking your jobs to Mexico. We're going to have younger workers coming in at lower wages and benefits while they give their CEO $12 million a year, I guess.
Everyone is sick and tired of working every single waking moment of their life. I'm tired. We're all tired. You know who's not tired? That building over there. They're not tired of us working 7 days a week, 12, 16-hour days. They do. They have half day Fridays over there.
Senator, hey, how are you? Good to see you again.
Yeah. That's all right.
Hey, Bernie. Welcome.
Man, that's Senator Bernie Sanders. Is there anyone else like him in Congress, really? I mean, yes, there's some progressive lawmakers, but anyone who's willing to constantly fight for workers, show up to the picket line, apply pressure to these corporations. Obviously he was fighting to get the Build Back Better agenda passed. I wish there were more people like him in Congress. I'm just putting it out there. I feel like this country would be a way better place. And I guess to give Biden a little bit of credit, he did also speak out against Kellogg's. And he did it in a moment that was important because the company was threatening to make some of the scabs permanent. And that's when Biden decided to get a little involved. After Kellogg's announced earlier this month that it would move to permanently replace striking workers, Biden said in a statement that, quote, such action undermines the critical role collective bargaining plays in providing workers a voice and the opportunity to improve their lives while contributing fully to their employer's success. So Waz, any final thoughts on this strike and its outcome?
I guess Sleepy Joe woke up from his nap. And it's pathetic, quite honestly. We know you can't count on what is ostensibly the party of the working people, the Democrats, which obviously is laughable. They're so obviously wholly captured by the corporate interests. The other day, Kamala Harris's socialist dad was like, she's beholden to the donors. Her own dad's thrown her under the bus. It's embarrassing. And the truth of the matter is, this is the only way to make gains. Collective action by workers. Obviously, politically, it's just impossible to get anything done on behalf of working people, working family. This is the only way to get it done, is labor agitation. Labor quite, violence. This is the only thing that these people believe in. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta shut stuff down. They don't respond to anything else. It's not like they get their record profits. It's not like they get their record bonuses and say, why don't we like do right by the people who are, very responsible for the success. They never do this on their own. They only react to this. And so it's a nice day for those Kellogg's workers and working people across the country.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.